Hey Stampers, welcome to Brandy's Cards. So I've got a great card for you today. We're gonna do a card that can be a birthday card or an Easter card, maybe a thank you card, whatever you would like, although it does remind me of Easter. So I'm in spring too, so I'm excited to bring this card to you today. So it is a fun flip card. See, check that out. Yeah. That's pretty cool, right? So I know that we have the Framelit dies where you can run it through your Big Shot and wham kabammo, it's cut out. But we have so many fantastic Framelits that, and I've seen this technique with all of the different Framelits, and I thought today I'm going to show you exactly how I did that. So I am really loving this card, and although the stamp set, the name of the stamp set is fairly difficult for me to say, Apothecary. Oh, I said it. So I'm going to say it like one more time, and then I'm not going to say it again. Apothecary Art. Wow, that was good. I said it again. So there you go. So this is the stamp set. It comes in two. It's got these beautiful labels, and they also coordinate with our Framelits. We've got these label Framelits, and you'll see here they coordinate beautifully with the label Framelits. So I really like that. This card is super easy. It's fun, and I think I'm ready to get started. So I have Wild Wasabi, and I've got some So Saffron here, along with Whisper White. I've just pulled out some rose red, just some rose red cardstock, along with, you can grab Pretty in Pink or Pink Pirouette. I know that, the Pretty in Pink is no longer available. So you know what, honestly, just grab whatever pink looks best. If you have scraps, it doesn't really matter. So to get started to make this card, this is what we need. I have Wild Wasabi here, and I'm gonna grab my scoreboard, and it looks like it's fallen on the floor, so just give me 2 seconds to pick that up. There's the scoreboard. This is the Simply Scored by Stampin' Up. And what we're gonna do is I have a, now you're not gonna find any of the sizes and dimensions in this video. Go to brandyscards.com and type in the search bar in the top right-hand corner, Apothecary Art, so type that in there. Or you could type in there flip card, and that will bring up this project or any other projects that I've made using this stamp set. So what you're going to do is you're going to put it inside your scoring, the long side. You're going to score that, and you're going to score down at 4 1/4, and then you're going to go back here and you're going to score down at 2 1/8. Okay, and that's it. That's all the scoring that you need. So we're going to just set this down here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep my score lines and just kind of fold it. Perfect. Now we've got that done. Now what you're going to see here is I've actually picked, let's see, 1, 2, 3. I've got number 3 and number 4, if you're counting from the outside in of my label Framelits. So yeah, look at this one. This one is like, it's got some serious love. I did a stamp camp, and I swear we did like, oh my gosh, I don't want to tell you how many of these cards that I prepped for. So that is why this has gotten a little cattywamped, but it's okay. It still works perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this and set it down here on my table. So what you see here is you've got one side of the card, which is 4 1/4, and then you have the other side, which is also 4 1/4, but it's scored at 2 1/8. Now the idea here is that you do not want to cut all the way through, right? So how do we use the Framelit so that it doesn't cut all the way through that cardstock? Well, this is how you're going to do that. You're going to go ahead and position it as though you are going to cut it. And the key here, what I find is the easiest, is if you take and you put these 2 little points here just on the other side of this score line. So it would be more towards the inside, I suppose, versus the outside. Now this technique does help tremendously if you have Post-it notes or some old washi tape or a magnetic platform. It is like the key, okay? But since mine is so warped, it doesn't even want to stick to my magnetic platform because it's so cattywamped. But anyway, I'm going to use my Post-it note just to kind of hold it into place. And now what I'm going to do is I find it's easier to run the side that you're cutting through the Big Shot first, and you're going to see why. So I'm going to turn it around. Now I have my other plastic plate. I'm going to put this up here on my Big Shot very carefully. Now I'm going to put my other plastic plate right here, and I'm going to put it right on top so that it's on top of these 2 points, okay? So remember, your Big Shot is, it cuts with pressure. So wherever you put that plate is where that cut is going to happen. So we're just going to run this through, just like that. I'm going to set this aside and push this back through. Now check this out. If all goes well, we should have, we'll take our sticky off. All goes well, we should have the perfect cut, right? Very cool. So it didn't go through our card, and that's exactly what we wanted. So the other little tidbit here, which I have done this several times, you just want to make sure that you keep your framelit just kind of, the reason that I say more towards the inside is so that you have, this little guy is just, it's thick enough that it's not going to break on you. I've pulled it back and I've been like, oh man, and it breaks. So you just don't want that. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to set this, the magnetic platform aside, and I'm going to pull in my, platform, my multi-purpose platform. I'm going to put it on tab 1. Just going to set that down. So, you know, you could use any embossing folder that you would like. The reason that I really like this embossing folder, which is the square lattice, and yes, I know I use it all the time, but, you know, I guess when you really like something, you know, it's funny because I go to the ice cream shop and my husband's like, you know, what would you like for, you know, for some, for a snack? What kind of ice cream would you like? And I say, I love chocolate. And he's like, really? There's like 24 flavors and you want chocolate? Yeah, I love my chocolate. So I like my square lattice a lot. But the reason that I like it for this project is because you'll see the score line you could see before, right? Well, take a look at this. Once I run it through with the square lattice, I'm just going to pull this off my Big Shot. Look at that. The score line is totally gone, so you can't even see that I scored it. So why did I score it originally? Well, I scored it because I needed to see where to put, you know, where to put my platform, or my, I should say my plastic plate, so that I could cut it. So I had to score it to see that, but then when you run it through with that lattice, it's like completely gone. So it is awesome. So now let's go ahead and just fold it back in half because this is our card base. And now what you want to do is you want to fold your framed part back, just like this. And it's already been scored once, so it should fold perfectly. And you know, the middle part stays just fine. Now again, this is label number 3. So we're going to grab label number 4. And I'm going to put this back through my, my Big Shot. And I'm just going to cut another one of my labels, which would be label number 3. We're not going to do 4 yet. I jumped the gun there. We're going to do number 3. Let's just push it through here. And now remember, when you do this, if you're going to use your platform, you're going to want to put it on the top of the platform. I just had it on tab 1, went to push it through, and well, it didn't work, which it's not going to work. It didn't have enough pressure. So here we go. There's the top one. So this should work fine. It's kind of like bones cracking. Let's just pull this out. There we go. And there, it just pops right out. Check that out. That is really cool stuff. Perfect. Now let's go ahead and keep moving on. We're just, we're doing great. Let's move on. I've got a Whisper White piece of cardstock, and I have one of my labels here, and I also have black Staz-on ink. The reason that I'm going to use black Staz-on ink today is because I'm going to color it with markers. Now you could color this with a blender pen and some inks. You could color it with pastels. You could color it with you know, just about anything that you would like to, quite honestly. But I'm going to color it with markers, and I want this Staz-on so that it doesn't bleed. It doesn't bleed into my markers. So you see that? That turned out beautiful. I'm going to put it back on top of my, my platform here. And you know, I think I'm going to go ahead and switch back to my magnetic platform, because as you guys know, when you're doing these detailed type of things, when you stamp and then you, you place your framelit on the top, it just really is nice that that magnetic platform holds it into place. So here we go. I'm going to put my Whisper White piece down. I'm going to layer my framelit just right around it. This is framelit number 4, counting from the outside. And then we've got our other piece of acrylic here. Let's run that through. Let's see, our plastic plate. And now we should have, look at that, perfect. See that there? It punched out perfectly. All right, so I think that's all we have for Big Shottin' today. We're gonna go right into the good stuff. We're gonna start putting it together, which I love to put it together. So here we go. We've got, we have saffron. So I'm just gonna put a bit of my Tombow glue, and I'm just gonna layer it right here on the inside, okay? Because remember, our card has already, it already has part of the Framelit in there. So now what I'm gonna do is just put it inside of here so that it layers perfectly on the top. You see that there? So it just takes a second for my glue to kind of grab, but it's gonna layer so that you can't even see, you can't see the yellow, okay? Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our white Framelit that we cut with one of our images, and we're gonna just center that here in the middle of the saffron. And that looks perfect. Pretty easy so far. Here now I've got, let's see, I have rose red. Actually, I picked gumball green because it was a little bit darker. And then I have the pink pirouette. And so we're gonna start coloring. And what I decided to do again was with markers. And you know, I just started out with the pink pirouette and I just started to color all my little flowers. And I thought, wow, you know, that was pretty, but there just really wasn't a lot of pop to those flowers. So I'm going to show you what I decided to do. You know, I decided to go ahead and outline a few of those flowers with my rose red. So it's, you know, you could make these flowers any color really that you wanted to. I even thought about maybe making the base, maybe Marina Mist, because I thought that would also be really pretty for Easter. And then do the rose red and the yellow flowers. That would be really, really pretty. So I'm going to use the fine tip edge, and I'm just going to outline a few of my flowers. You know, nothing crazy. I did like to kind of swirl around on the inside of the flower, just where you could see that there was definition. But again, you know, you don't have to get too crazy. It just really sort of brings out the flower. It really adds a bit of dimension. So I'm going to just do a couple more of these so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And you know, I do recommend that you guys play with it and try a few different things. You know, this is just the starting place. I know I've said that before, but I truly mean that. So see what you guys come up with. This is gumball green. You could use wild wasabi. I tell the gals that with my color challenge. You know, if you don't have the exact color, well, find a color that's really, really close until you're able to get that color. It's most important that you try to play with these colors and put them together, because you'll find it's not always easy when you're given a certain set of colors. So I'm just going to trace just very lightly. I've got the thicker edge. And now you might ask, well, why didn't you just use the fine point tip? Well, you know, honestly, I just think it just works just fine. As long as you have a very pointy, a fairly new marker, and you're really light on the coloring, it works just fine. And it kind of is, it's thicker sort of than the stems. So I kind of liked the fact that it kind of bled over the line, I suppose. So that is why I did that versus the fine tip edge. So now we're going to start on the bottom, just really quickly here. And then what we're going to do is, you know, I thought, well, how can I add some dimension to this card? Because, you know, there really wasn't. Now, I certainly could have, you know, colored more of these flowers and hand cut them out. But, you know, I mean, it seems like, you know, I like to cut a lot of stuff out. So I thought I would spare you there. And if you have the itty bitty punches, or you have any type of small little flower punch, well, I would recommend that you grab that and just punch a couple flowers out of rose red, pink pirouette, pretty in pink, whatever you might have available. Okay, so we are done now with coloring the green, and I'm gonna just touch that up real quick there. Perfect. And so now we're done. We've got the green colored. Perfect. Love it. Now I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock here. And again, all the dimensions will be on brandyscards.com. And you can find this particular project in the search bar. Type in Apothecary Art, or you can type in label framelits or flip card. Okay, so pretty easy. This is going to be the inside of our card. That's done now. Over here, let's do a greeting. So inside of this stamp set, there is the, it says happiest birthday, which I thought was beautiful. It's a great script. There's also so grateful. But I think, again, this would make a beautiful Easter card. So I'm going to leave it up to you what you would like to stamp on it, of course. But I'm going to use the happy birthday because I can always use a beautiful birthday card. Okay. So I have a piece of scrap paper. This was honestly left over from when I cut the cardstock for the inside of the card. And you know, you could take a square punch and stick the corner of the square punch in here and cut it. But you know, it has never really bothered me just to kind of cut my own little triangle in there. And I know sometimes people say, well, it's not perfectly even. Again, that never has really bothered me. So, but if it does bother you, absolutely grab your square punch, put the corner in there, or if you have the star punch, punch that out and it'll be perfect. So I have our happiest birthday done. I'm going to stick a couple of my Stampin' Dimensionals here on my card. Just pull the backs off. We'll put one more, so we'll do 3. And I'm going to put my greeting on first, or my sentiment. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to layer my flowers around it. So if I put this down first, then I know where I can position my flowers so they'll look great. Now I've already, like I had said earlier, just go punch yourself out a few flowers. I layered them together. These are from the Itty Bitty Punches. It's nothing crazy. I also added pearls on the inside of these just for, you know, just for a little extra something. And we're just going to stick these right on top of our card. And we're just about done. Can you believe it? See, I told you guys this was easy. So now if you have some framelits or if you have any of these products, I hope that you pull them out and give them a try. Because you are not limited to just using the label framelits. There are all kinds of cool framelits that we sell and that we have. Okay, so there it is. This is the happiest birthday flip card using the label framelit. Super easy, definitely very pretty, and I think it would be, you know, it's got a really nice dynamic touch to it with the way that it opens up. So I hope that you enjoyed today's project, and I hope that you give it a try. I would love for you to leave me a comment and let me know what you think of today's card and if you tried a different framelit and what you thought. Okay? So thanks again for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day.